Barakatah Yahweh. Lately, that has gone to wild stuff every once in a while, especially when they plan on making numb, brain dead, American out there to paint certain narrative, and it exposes them. But nevertheless, it is what it is. That are being labeled, and they're lumping all of the different groups out there that teach, no matter what religion they are, as long as they have some black, so that he can be justified. And problem was it on this offline, your own devices, which pretty much, offline area didn't have the great definition, but we'll use that one. Devices, an inclination or desire used in the plural in the phrase left to your own devices. And pretty much it's, the ability for someone to create something, to help forward their agenda, and the devices are usually things that are used said we're going to go to is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, and this demonic, satanic. It says thoughts of mortal men are miserable. That you may have plans to do something and it doesn't work out because it wasn't in the plans of the Lord. And so you might have a plan in mind and it may go through because the Lord, because 42 and verse 18. Right? Well, no, spirituals that they can't see the very tokens and the very earthquakes and these different destructions of the uproars of the people, these different tumults and these political, social, these the war situations that are going on around the world, all the way down to the economic system of this world, and the direction that is heading, being all digitalized to implant everybody with that CHIP, the charagma, you see? And they can't see that all of this direction that the world is going into is what the Heavenly Father is pushing. But they think that is their agenda. It says he declared the things that are past and for to come, and revealeth the steps of hidden things, right? Because those mysteries are revealed to the servants of the Lord, which are the prophets. And the prophets in turn go and speak these things, and these things come to pass because they are ordained by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. No thought escapeth him, neither any word is hidden from him. So no matter what you're up to, you can't hide that. It says he hath garnished the excellent works of his wisdom, and is from everlasting to everlasting. Unto him may nothing be added, neither can he be diminished, and he had no need of any counselor. Yeah, because that's what Esau's trying to do. They're trying to X the Most High out, just like they X'd out Yahushai, in this society, as it tells us in Revelation, the 11th chapter. They crossed him out. So they're trying to cross the Most High out. Even back in the 60s, the series Twilight Zone, the obsolete man, they're Burgess Meredith, right? He played Mr. Wordsworth, and the other guy, they try to say that the state has proven that there is no God. And what did he say? He said you can't erase God with an edict, because that's what Esau thinks. They think that if they believe something long enough, or if they write certain things into law, that they will come to pass. They think that they could erase the Most High by setting themselves up to be the Most High. And that's why they have what's called the God complex, because they want to be like the Most High, but you're not. And it's going to be found out that you're not. Now let's go from there. Let's go to an example in the scriptures. Let's go to the book of Esther. Right? Let's go to the book of Esther, the 8th chapter. And we're going to read the first verse to the 3rd verse. Esther 8 and 1. On that day did the king Ahasuerus give the house of Haman, the Jews' enemies, unto Esther the queen. Yeah, because Haman had a plot. He had a device that he thought he was going to be able to take out all of, the Israelites, because he was in a good position with the king. He was second in command under the king. And he just thought that, since he had that position, that the king was going to give him the favor, and that everything was going to work out, and everything was going in his favor. He was given the orders to do what he had to do. He built the gallows. He set everything up in place. He had the accusations against him, and he was well on his way to achieve his agenda and his devices, right? It says, but then it says that Haman was, the Jews of the enemy, was given unto Esther the queen. In other words, what was to happen to him was left up to Esther, which Esther was under the orders of Mordecai, her uncle. It says, and Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. So the same authority that this Edomite had, and the same agenda that this Edomite had against us, he was stripped of that authority. The authority was given to Mordecai, who was an Israelite, and the power and the thing that they were going to use against us was used against them. Check that out. It says, and gave it unto Mordecai, and Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. It says, and Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he had devised against the Jews. Now let's look up this word device. Esther 8:3. Just bear with me 1 second. It's the book of Esther, chapter 8, and verse 3. And it says, for the word device is the word machashabach. I'm sorry, machashabath. Machashabath, right? And machashabath is thought, device, plan, purpose, invention. And those were the inventions that they tried to push upon the Israelites. But guess what? It turned around on them. It turned around and ended up backfiring on Haman the Edomite. Now let's go from there. Let's move on to the book of, before we read on, let's go to the book of Psalms, the 10th chapter. Let's go to Psalms 10 and 1. It says, why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. And that's what Esau is doing. They have the authority, the power, the money, the time, the resources to persecute the poor. And that's what they do. It says, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined, because that's exactly what's taking place. They're being taken in the devices that they have imagined. So because everything that they're setting up is going to, at one point or another, go into a tipping point where it's going to go against their favor, just like just like Haman's invention or idea that he thought to do to us backfired on him. Remember, everything was set, everything was in place. The only thing that needed to be done was, the Israelites being grabbed from all those different provinces and hung on those gallows. Remember that. Now let's go from there. Let's go to the book of Psalms 37 and 7 now. Get a couple of these precepts. Psalms 37 and 7. It says, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him that prospereth in his way. And we see that right now. Esau is prospering in his way. And I was meditating on this earlier, how even Jake in the world, they see the injustices being done. And they for some reason, they said, damn, for some reason, these devils, they never get their just due. They never pay. They always get away with what they're doing to us. But it's not so, because, see, the Lord is saving all that to hit them all at once. Because when the Lord hits this devil with the retribution and the repayment, it's gonna be nonstop. There's gonna be no mercy. So I was meditating on that earlier. That like yeah, they get away with it. Even we get mad, but there's a big greater purpose because once they go down, it's over. It's over. And for a period of 1,000 years, the first payment is what? The destruction of his whole system, of his whole empire, the dissolving of his device or devices, his so-called agenda, his so-called NWO is going to be totally dismantled. Then after that, the ones that survive are going to be brought into chains and go right into them. I don't know, for some reason it's offering bad, and all the brothers up there and a few sisters that